Okay, everyone, let's get started. Number 1, given the function, find the indicated value. Find f of 6 when f of x equals 5 minus 8x to the second power. So we would just have to plug in 6 right here. So f of 6 equals 5 minus 8 times 6 squared equals 5 minus 8 times 6 times 6, 36. 5 minus 8 times 36 is 288. 5 minus 288 is negative 283. That's our answer. Number 2, evaluate the function at the given value of the independent variable and simplify. It's the same thing, just a slightly different format, so let's do it. F of negative 4 equals negative 4 squared plus 3 over negative 4 cubed plus 7x. Negative 4 squared is going to be positive 16 because a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16 plus 3 over negative 4 cubed is going to be negative 64 because it's negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. This is going to give us positive 16, but then we're multiplying it by a negative 4 again, which is going to make it negative because it's a positive and a negative. Oh, I forgot to put the negative 4 here. So it's going to be plus. No, it's not. It's going to be minus because 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. 16 plus 3 is 19. Negative 64 minus 28 is going to be negative 92. So our answer is negative 19 over 92. That's our answer. Now for number 3, same thing, except now it's just 2 numbers instead of 1. But it's the same thing. 3x minus 1 squared plus 2x minus 1 minus 6. For x minus 1 squared, we're going to have to FOIL it, which is basically this. And then FOIL just means these two, and then these two, and then this two, and these two. So it's going to be 3 times x times x is going to be x squared. X times negative 1 is going to be negative 1x or negative x. Negative 1 times x is going to be negative x once again. And negative 1 times negative 1 is going to be positive 1. Plus 2x minus 1 minus 6. Now we multiply the 3 into the parentheses. 3x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 3 plus, now we multiply the 2 into the parentheses. 2x minus 2 minus 6. Now we combine like terms. There's an x here, x here, x here. And then there is number. And we don't have anything squared that we can combine the 3x squared with, so it's just going to stay as it is. 3x squared. Negative 3 minus negative 3 is going to be negative 6, plus 2 is going to be negative 4x, and then positive 3 minus 2 is going to be 1, minus 6, negative 5. That's our answer. excuse me. Now let's go to number 4. Graph the function, give the domain and range. So let's make a little table for the old x, new x, and f of x. So here we see that it's in absolute value bars, which means it's going to be a V-shaped graph. And there's also a number here and a number here. What does the -5 mean? That means there's going to be a shift. And we always want to do the opposite of what's in the absolute value bars. So if it's -5, we're going to shift right 5. And this means that we're going to go down 2. So x and y. Let's make our table. So let's use, as we always use, for our old x's, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Now we say that we shift right 5. This is our x, this is our y. So in order to shift right 5, we have to add 5 to these values. -2 plus 5 is going to be 3. -1 plus 5, 4. 0 plus 5, 5. 1 plus 5, 6. 2 plus 5, 7. And then f of x means that we're going to subtract 2 from these values because we're going down 2. That's not right. It's very late. Let me take that back. F of x. For f of x, we're going to plug x into the actual absolute value equation. I was thinking of something else, I'm sorry, but let me show you how this works. So let's plug in 3. It's going to be 3 minus 5 minus 2. 3 minus 5 is -2 minus 2. The absolute value of -2 is just 2. Minus 2 is 0. Therefore, our first y value is 0. And we do the same with all of these x values. So 4 minus 5 is -1. Absolute value of -1 is 1. 1 minus 2 is -1. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 minus 2 is -2. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 2, -1. 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. These are our points. And now let's graph them. So 3, 0, 4, -1, 5, -2, 6, -1, 7, 0. And then we can do this. Our domain is negative infinity to positive infinity, and which is all real numbers because it is a function. And our range is -2, positive infinity, to positive infinity. So that's our graph and our answer. Number 5. Solve by the substitution method. In the substitution method, we would isolate a variable and make an equation, and we will plug that into the other equation. Let me show you. So in this case, let's isolate x. So x minus 5y equals -28. Now in order to isolate x, we have to move the y to the other side. So x is going to equal 5y minus 28. And it's positive 5y because we're moving it from one side to another, so the sign changes. And since we're using substitution, let's plug in, this is our x now. Negative 4 times 5y minus 28 minus 6y equals a negative 44. Now we plug in the 4 into the parentheses. So negative 20y plus 112 minus 6y equals negative 44. Negative 20 minus 6 is going to be negative 26y plus 112 equals negative 44 minus 112 minus 112. Negative 26y is going to equal negative 156. And if we divide both sides by negative 26, y is going to give us 6. Now that we have our y, we can plug it into one of the original equations. Let's plug it in to this one. So x minus 5, we said our y was 6, equals negative 40. I was looking at the other one, negative 28. X minus 30 equals negative 28 plus 30 plus 30. X equals 2. And our answer for this problem is 2, 6. Because we have to write our answers in order X, Y, Z. Now for number 6. That's number 6. Okay, so it's also substitution. That's what the instructions say. Let's do it once again. It's going to be a lot easier to isolate x because it's already by itself and we don't have to divide anything. So let's do that again. X plus 6y equals negative 6. And we have to move the 6y to the other side now. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be x equals negative 6y minus 6. We plug it into the other equation. 2 negative 6y minus 6 plus 7y equals negative 12. And now, give me a second. So now let's go ahead and input the 2 into the parentheses. So negative 12y minus 12 plus 7y equals negative 12. We can combine like terms. Negative 12 plus 7 is going to be negative 5y minus 12 equals negative 12. Add 12 to both sides. Let's do this up here. So it's going to be negative 5y equals 0. Divided by negative 5, divided by negative 5. Y equals 0. Now we can have a value equals 0, but we cannot have a variable equals 0 because that would be no solution. Now let's plug that in to one of the equations. Let's plug it into the first one. X plus 6. We said y is 0 equals negative 6. X, 6 times 0 is 0, so x is going to be negative 6. And our answer is negative 6, 0. Now for number 7, it says solve the system by elimination. In elimination, we have to try to cancel them out. Cancel out factors. So I think the easiest one to cancel out would be x because it's here by itself, so we can multiply it by anything really. And since we're going to try to cancel x, here's a positive 9x. We have to try to make this a negative 9x. So we're going to multiply everything here by negative 9. So it's going to be negative 9x plus 63y equals 477. And then we put this equation here, 9x minus 8y equals negative 37. Now we combine like terms. Negative 9 and 9 are going to cancel. 63 minus 8 is going to be 55y equals 477 minus 37 is going to be 440. Oops. Now we divide everything by 55. Y equals 8. That is our y value, and we can plug it in to one of these equations. Let's plug it into the second one. 9x minus 8, our y is 8, equals negative 37. So 9x minus 64 equals negative 37. Add 64 to both sides. 9x equals 27 divided by 9, x equals 3. So our answer is 3, 8. Let's do number 8 now. Once again, solve the system by the elimination method. Now we don't have anything by itself, so we have to multiply both of the equations. I think the easiest would be 8 and 6 because they both have 24 in common. So in order to make 8 24, we would multiply by 3. Let's try to make one side negative and one side positive so that we can cancel it. So let's multiply this by negative 3, which is going to be negative 21x minus 24y, which equals negative 75. And then our bottom equation, 6 times 4 is 24, so let's multiply everything by 4, positive 4. So 16x plus 24y equals 40. Combine like terms. Negative 21 plus 16 is negative 5x. These cancel, which equals negative 75 plus 40 is negative 35. Divide by negative 5. X is going to equal 7. Now let's plug that 7 into one of our original equations. Let's plug it in to this one. Why not? So 4, we said our x is 7, plus 6y equals 10. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 6y equals 10. Subtract 28 from both sides. 6y equals negative 18. Divide by 6, divide by 6. Y is going to give us negative 3. So our answer is going to be 7, negative 3. That's our answer for number 8. Let's go to number 9. Once again, solve the system by elimination. We can really do any of them is fine. We can try to eliminate any of them. But I'm just going to choose to eliminate x first. So we have a 6 and a 2. We can multiply these 2 by 3 in order to make it 6. But let's multiply everything by negative 3 so that we can have a positive 6 to cancel with the negative 6 on the bottom. Negative 2 times negative 3, 6x, minus 18y equals negative 6. And then bring this equation down, negative 6x plus 18y equals negative 6. Combine like terms or cancel. This cancels, and this cancels, and this also cancels. And what does that mean? That means that we have no solution because we have no variables. We have no solution. We can't have a number without a variable. So, no solution is our answer here. And last one for today, number 10. Solve the system of equations. And this time we have 3 equations, but it's the same thing, just a little bit more work. We can do elimination or substitution, but I'm thinking of elimination just because this is by itself. So it's going to be a whole lot easier. Let's multiply the bottom side by positive 3 because it's already positive and it's already negative. So it's just easier. Let's first go ahead and so 7 times 3 is 21x plus, actually let's make this a lot easier on ourselves since I just realized, and let's just use the first 2 because we can cancel them right off the bat. So let's bring them down. So 5x plus 2y plus z equals negative 11. And then 2x minus 3y minus z equals 17. Combine and cancel. 5 plus 2, 7x. 2 minus 3 minus y. These cancel and it's gonna give me 6. Because it's negative 11 plus 17. So here is our first equation. That's our first equation. Now let's make another one. What other 2 equations can we use to cancel them out? We can use these 2. Because there's a 2z and a z, because we already took a z out from the first 2. So now let's do one with the other 2. So that we can have something to cancel out together to then find one of the other variables. Let's multiply this by 2 because the z is already negative, so that's going to give us 4x minus 6y minus 2z equals, not negative, it's going to give me 34. And then we just bring this one down. 7x plus y plus 2z equals negative 4. 4 plus 7 is going to give me 11x. Negative 6 plus 1 is going to be negative 5y. These cancel, and 34 minus 4 is 30. This is our second equation. We have an x and a y. So now let's go ahead and do something with these 2 equations. Let's cancel them out so that we can find a variable. The easiest one to cancel out, the easiest one is going to be y, just because we have a variable with nothing on it, so it can really be multiplied by anything. Let's go ahead to this over here, so it's going to be 7x minus y equals 6. And 11x minus 5y equals 30. Let's multiply this by negative 5 to make it a positive 5 so it can easily cancel. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35x plus 5y equals negative 30. And then we bring the other one down. These cancel. These are going to be equal to 0, and negative 35 plus 11 is going to be negative 24x divided by negative 24, x is going to be 0. So yay, we found our x. And now we can plug our x into any of those equations in order to find y. Okay, now let's plug it in to find y. Let's plug it in to this equation right here. So 7, we said x was 0, minus y equals 6. 7 times 0 is 0, so negative y equals 6. We can't have a negative variable, so we switch it. Y equals negative 6. That's our answer. And now let's plug it into one of the original equations so that we can find z. I'm going to plug it into this one. 5, we said x was 0, plus 2, y is negative 6, plus z equals negative 11. 5 times 0 is 0. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, plus z equals negative 11, plus 12, plus 12. Z is going to give me 1. Not over. And so our answers are 0, negative 6, and 1. And that's all for today. I'll see you guys later.